Hello and welcome to IndianaMat Gorilla Radio, episode 63. I am Joe Caprino. I have Mr. Mike Reiser here. How are you doing, Mike?
Tell them who it is, man. They don't know who Joe Caprino is. Why, too?
Yes. That's how most people know me. We are live. It's been a while. Lots of craziness going on lately. The last couple weeks has just been really bizarre with snow outs, rain outs, and we have been not blessed with the best schedules, to say the least, here with all those conferences getting canceled, and then there wasn't much to talk about, so then we skipped that last week, and then this week's been filled with rankings and brackets and all that fun stuff.
A little bracket gate action, right?
Oh, yes, the bracket gate. That was fun. I just want brackets. That's all I want. Even if they might change or will change, I don't care. I want to see brackets, mainly to see where. I know Mike wants to see them to see where everyone's dropping or going up, or to get confirmation on weights. It looks like either we've been leaked out the information on weight changes, or there were not very many, from what I could tell.
Yeah, nothing crazy, I don't think. 32, Holman went up to 38. Overall, I don't think that. Morely, I want to see. There were some guys that were kind of on the fence that we want to see if they were going to be in or out for the rankings wise. You want to. I seen Jacob Atkins is out from South Bend Riley, and who was having like a nice season. So I don't know what happened there. I know Dalton Anderson. He had some issues and some like health issues, not like school issues or anything like that. And I didn't know if he was going to get it or not. And obviously, that's a guy that's like a state title contender. Like if he's in there at heavyweight, returning state qualifier. Possibly a guy like you would hate, not that you would hate, you would be so excited if you go to look at that LaPorte sectional and, 220 or heavyweight, you got Eli Picorni in there sneaking right into the postseason.
Yeah.
It would have been a nice little surprise. So those are the kind of things I like to look for. I know like Brooks Wortheren, he was injured, and he Jennings County, and he didn't make it back. And guys like that, you want to see kind of some of that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to make sure those guys that have been out all season aren't sneaking into the rankings. Or sneaking into, I guess, not sneaking into the rankings, sneaking into sectional. And there are times when people keep that on the down low, and maybe they don't know until a week or two before, and all of a sudden, hey, there they are. Eli Picorni here is that set, and that wouldn't look good to totally miss him.
And that's a game changer, And he was weighing in early on, and he had re-injured. And then the second part to that, what we really look for is maybe like if someone was overlooked. We only get so much in the database, even though people go in and they put a ton of stuff in, which is great. I think that's an amazing. I know Joe does a lot of results, but you would hate to be overlooked. And then we're going through, and I added all the records to all the guys that were ranked. That I think we did 20. Did we release the rankings today?
Yep, I just did it about an hour ago. So yes, the new rankings are out there.
I went through and put in all the records, and there's a ton of really good records. Not a ton of undefeated guys, which is good and bad. Just kind of shows the depth of the state. I know a guy like Caden Rooks, who looked phenomenal every time I've seen him wrestle. He has a loss up a weight, and just guys going out. Donnell Washington, also phenomenal this year. He wrestled up a weight to Nick South and got that loss. So a lot of guys with really good records, and I think we kind of talked about that too.
Yeah, that's always. I was looking through there to see that, because you put in the records. I was looking to see if there are any possibilities of 4 undefeated guys meeting up in the semis from from all 4 semi-states, and I saw a couple, about 3 or 4 maybe that have 3. None have 4. So there's ways with more than 4 undefeated guys, but it's more or less they'll meet up at a couple of them will meet up at semi-state, so they won't have the 4 from each semi-state. Fort Wayne was the one that really hurt us, I think. They're the ones that didn't have enough undefeated guys. I'm sorry.
Uh, Fort Wayne does this crazy thing, and it's starting to happen a lot at East Chicago too. Just doing the rankings where, I mean, we've talked about in the past, and I know kind of Fort Wayne gets there, like, oh, they're not the best semi-state kind of rep. But the weights where they're good, it seems like all of their guys want to be in that weight. Like, those are weights that, hey, instead of, spreading out against like 3 or 4 weights, it's just all wrestle at, 32. 32 is a pretty good weight at Fort Wayne, where, some of those guys can be spread out. You got, Gimson and Owen Kreider's undefeated. Chris Schuler's undefeated. So Hunter Cottingham has 2 losses. You got a ton of guys that are right in that mix. Masser has 1 loss.
Yeah, that's a loaded weight class.
And that's not even to talk about a guy like Kyle Lawson, who has 12 losses but is a returning state qualifier.
Yes.
Or how who's a returning state qualifier. So definitely a good weight where maybe some of those should be spread out. Maybe you have 3 at 26 and 3 at 38 like that. But 38's loaded over there too. That's a pretty good weight also. Yeah,
it is. I mean, I know I obviously have a vested interest in that weight, and 38's 38's looking really good. And so is with 38 has a lot of guys up at in the same regional. You have Gimson, Buchanan, and Sheff. All 3 are coming out of the same regional. So if you're a regional champ, you're hoping for that 4 from there. And I know that East Noble has a kid that dropped, Ledesma, who'd been wrestling 38 for a little bit. He's pretty tough. He was going to be he was at 38 for the earlier part of the season and made the drop. So that was a smart move by him. Even though he's going into he has another Gimson in his regional, and then. If he loses there, you have Cottingham. I mean, the Peru regional is always the one you always want to draw into if you're not a champion. And then, but when the Peru regional has a couple good kids, you kind of flinch and oh geez, now I'm kind of in trouble. But that's a good 32, 38, 26 is actually pretty solid too. Not quite as deep, but I mean you have the 2 state champs, Curtis and Watts. You have right. If you're not from one of their regionals, you aren't a regional champ, you have a chance of running into them. And then you also have Ian Heath, another regional champ coming out of there, or possible regional champ, I guess. He's pretty tough, so that's 3 hammers. If you run into one of those,
yeah. So I seen one of the comments. Yeah, Ocampo, that guy's been on fire, undefeated.
Yeah,
he's been wrestling a while.
Yes, he has. He just got back on the mat, and I know he beat some pretty solid kids, and it's always hard to. I know from your point of view, it's hard to rank guys that don't get around too much. Out for half the season, whether no matter what they're out for or whatever. It's always hard to kind of rank those, and then I mean you have limited. He only has 9 matches, so it's hard to rank. But he has seen some solid kids. The NECC actually has some good kids there, so that helped. And it was a Garrett invite where he had a good showing, wrestled some good kids at Aiden Sprague from East Noble. That was a good signature win there.
Yeah, so. that is difficult when you're getting half a season's results, and especially a freshman or a younger guy that you don't know a ton about. You got to kind of look at some of his matchups before, okay, where has he wrestled at? Who has he wrestled against? You look at some of that stuff, but
yeah. Get some comments finally. I had to put something in there to make sure that was working.
Yeah, for sure. Same thing. I mean, obviously this could be going all night, but Nolan Wampler I thought looked really good at Al Smith. He had a good win over Ethan Potowski, who I think is really good.
Yeah. Moving on, we do have a little bit of a structure. One interesting thing that we saw, and we were just talking about this before, there's a team in Oklahoma that got 1,000 dual wins for the school. So I pulled some data from what I have on the database, and we know obviously Coach Peckinpah got his 1,000th win, so we know Newcastle has 1,000 wins. A couple other teams, Belmont had just over 900, so they're probably 5 to 8 years away from maybe hitting that. Depends on how many. I don't know how many duels they get in a year, But so that'd be pretty neat. I think I have all their data. There's a couple others with 800 and stuff. So hopefully we can get some more data in there to get all the year histories and their coaches. I know I got a couple today that I'm going to put in. So it's always neat to see that kind of stuff, and pretty neat to see how many teams and their career records, and that's a lot of stuff. That's pretty neat to have and be able to go back on and say, wow, we have 500 and some wins, and even earmark some of those wins as a coach. So someone commented on there. I was just looking at it.
Yeah, and I know that. I know I had posted. I seen that IndianaMat had got their 600th win this year also. So.
Yeah, that should be.
So I'm sure that Coach Watkins has that somewhere, and he could send that in.
Yes.
It's pretty amazing. I think that's a pretty amazing thing.
Yeah, no, it's pretty neat to see that kind of stuff, and I think it's almost more amazing that people have that data. They've been keeping that data. I know some of the coaches have sent me some good stuff. I mean, obviously those teams with 400 plus, or actually 300 plus, have sent me a lot of years of data, 20 plus years. So if you have that stuff, send it to me and we'll get it in the system, and it's pretty neat to see that kind of information. The last couple weeks, obviously, like we said earlier, a little bit crazy. A lot of big duels. Perry versus Cathedral, Brownsburg versus Columbus East. That was a interesting match, to say the least, with Columbus East winning. Brownsburg had 3 guys out, but kind of plugging in the numbers that that would have been probably a tie, maybe, because Columbus East came to wrestle, and that was just Tuesday. I'm messed up on my days. But yeah, we've had some pretty big duels. Perry and Brownsburg wrestled last week. Lots of good. AJ, yep. You're getting the double digits soon, AJ.
That's my guy, man.
So, what's your thoughts, I guess, on any of the big duels? Any comments on that kind of stuff that's been going on the past couple weeks? And then we're going to get right into rankings, the important stuff that people want to hear.
Sounds like TJ's coming for my job. TJ McMurray is awesome. You guys should follow him on social media. He's pretty funny. Yeah, the Brownsburg, Columbus East, even the guys that didn't sit out, there were some pretty interesting results. Kind of rolled over from their conference. Like some matches where you're kind of left like, oh man, that's like kind of not the norm of how their season had been going. So some of those matches, but I mean, obviously Coach Cooper gets those guys up. Those guys, this is the time to peak. You see it every year, teams that peak early or teams that peak late. I'm not saying either of these teams. Some teams peak at the semi-state level and they get a bunch of guys there, and then they don't get out of that ticket round. And so it's interesting. I mean, obviously the Perry Cathedral duel, that's a huge duel for Indy. We got to do that last year with Nick doing the coverage. Great atmosphere, 2 great schools. I feel like I'm missing one. I thought there was like one more too.
There was Perry and Brownsburg wrestled. That one came down. That one was where the word was Aiden Warren made 138, but then he didn't wrestle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of good matches there. And
Roncalli and Cathedral too.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Which is. There was a lot of good bumping in that one, too. That was exciting. I seen Slivka went up to 170 and wrestle Mahan. Wallensack and Braden Lowry went up to wrestle Wallensack. And then the flip of that, I didn't know Sam Slivka was small enough to go 120, so they kind of like flip-flop, which is a pretty cool thing for Roncalli there. Sam Slivka went 120, and then Braden Lowry went 26 and Russell Wallensack and got a fall there, which is pretty good. And he's still undefeated, so that'll be he's gonna be a guy right there.
Yeah. No, that's some good wrestling, especially late in the season. And then on top of that, a lot of those schools in the Indy area had their conferences moved, and everyone had their conferences on Friday night, which was crazy. Some people not getting home till midnight or later. So, but they had a Saturday off, so got to see the sunshine on a Saturday. 'Cause next 4 weeks, it's going to be long.
It's going to be cold next week, man.
Yes.
I think
yes.
a lot of the region schools are getting called off for tomorrow, too. So
Yeah, I
I'm
think
sure that'll affect some sectional weights.
Yep. I know we didn't have school yesterday, so that's always fun to do that kind of stuff. And kids don't like it because they're not in their groove of being at school, walking around and stuff, and they're sitting at home. And man, that pantry's right there, so they get eager to. That food's way too close. They get out of their groove, and that's especially if they're cutting weight. That's not always good to have that access to the pantry. So.
Tough time of year. I mean, it's starting to come to an end. It's always difficult. I think this is always a difficult time, like because there's a lot of guys that's career is going to be ending this next weekend, tomorrow or Saturday, and then as it goes on, there's more and more guys are just gonna kind of go, and we always kind of talk about at the end of the year, but there's always other opportunities, for guys to wrestle. You see, like Indiana's doing a nice job. With their colleges, the smaller colleges, even the Division I, but like there's a lot of small opportunities. So hopefully the guys that maybe are put out this weekend or next weekend get an opportunity to wrestle somewhere.
Yeah, no, there's even the small schools I know are doing a great job recruiting. Indiana Tech does a great job with like these random semi-state qualifiers that end up being NAI All-Americans. I know they have about one a year, I think, is almost what they're averaging. So Coach Pompey, props to him doing a good job getting those kids, those diamonds in the rough, and getting them to the podium. That's always pretty cool. Do you know what detasseling corn is, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. When we moved in, we live in Lowell now, so we had to get a crash course in detasseling corn.
You moved out to the country?
Yeah. The girls get that at school a lot. We only lived about 20 minutes north, and they're like, "Oh, you guys are from the city. You don't understand." Okay, I'm not sure if that's true. But.
Nice. Yes, I don't know. I hear it all the time when tell my wife, "Oh, this is the country." Like, no, there's no one around. I go, "Yeah, that's the point of being in the country. There's no one around.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want." Yes. So. Moving on, we'll talk about some of the rankings. I know we just released them. We had some. We have the big thing is now we do our top 20, and then these rankings are locked. We might change. There might be a little bit of information that comes in. We'll officially probably lock them tomorrow night. In case Mike gets an information that so and so is hurt and he's out. So we'll change that to make him look good. Last couple years, it's been about 80% of these guys make the state finals. He's trying to get. You've gotten 15 out of 16 state qualifiers like once every the past 5 years in at least one weight class. So hopefully we'll get perfect 16. So
yeah, hopefully that'd be awesome. I think that's one of those things you want. I always felt You feel terrible for the kids that I think one year we got like a message and it was like, "Oh, thanks for not ranking me." It was motivation. I'm like, sorry, man. If that's what got you over the hump, congratulations. I'm not like it's not like a malicious thing. I don't ever think like sit down and be like, I hate this kid. I can honestly say I don't think there's one kid that I hate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't rank them and they make it to state, they make you look a little bit bad, and so we want to rank them. Even if you like them or not.
No, I mean, and we kind of do. I usually rank even the next like, probably 10 after that, maybe 5 to 10. Just kind of put them in an order in case something does happen where it happens sometimes. Joe will say, "Hey, like this guy, you have this guy in the wrong weight," and especially during the season, like yeah, just move them and then put the next guy in.
Yeah.
So. One of the good things, so what was it, Monday night, I start putting in everyone's record because you just want to make sure you don't miss anybody. You want to go and see, okay, like, did I miss some kid that's 40-0 or something? And, generally we don't, but, we kind of got an idea of the kids that are undefeated and, who they're wrestling, and that's not to, like, trash anybody or any schedule, but if you're 25-0 and you had 15 forfeits, it's different to than you know, a guy like Alex Cotty who's 24-0 and he's wrestled everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely. I was going through that and just looking at some of the guys. I mean, there's really not a lot of undefeated guys, as many as we usually have, it looks like. So we'll have to see how it compares to previous years. But yeah, I always look through those I look through them and see the names and see who, I always go over them one last time to make sure we're not missing anyone. But the big movers, I basically put anyone that was unranked as 20th. The biggest movers were 3 unranked guys that jumped up. Cameron Toole from Lebanon went from unranked to.
In my defense, Cameron O'Toole was missing a bunch of the season. He had a great win early on against Javion Ross, and then I think he's been out for most of the season.
Yeah, he has 11 matches, so obviously he's not been wrestling much. Yeah, he moved up to number 8 from basically unranked. Ronan Heiner from Hamilton Southeastern at 160, unranked to 9th. And then Jaden Williams from Avon moved him from unranked to 11th. So he's had those are our 3 biggest movers from unranked. Noah Gardner from Edgewood had moved up to number 9. He's undefeated on the year.
Yeah, a couple guys, especially in those first. Roland Heiner had a good win over Aaron Taylor early on, and then I hadn't seen a lot from him. He only has the 1 loss, and then Jaden Williams had a big win over
Lake and Austin.
Who did he? Yeah,
Lawson Aiken.
Lake and Austin. Something like that.
Yes. So that was there's been a lot of shift in that the conferences are where there a lot of good matches go on. So and it's tournament time, and so that was a big one. Other big movers, there really weren't too many. There was only 22 that moved more than 3 spots, so that's pretty good. Guys that moved 7 spots, said Noah Gardner, Jared Brooks, and Brock Merkel were both unranked. They're both 13th now. Brooks is a 106-pounder from Wabash, which is out in the middle of nowhere.
Nah, it's a nice area, man. I played a lot of softball tournaments there this summer.
Yeah.
With my daughters. I didn't personally play, but daughters played there. I like that area. The Apaches.
Yes, yeah, they have
right. That's what they're.
Yep, they're a pretty strong program. Brock Merkel from Harrison, West Lafayette. He moved up. Easton Williamson from Lebanon. Man, you've been sleeping on those Lebanon guys.
I know. I didn't see. I didn't see any of a ton of their results this year. I'll hear it though. I like those guys. Those guys are scrappy. But that guy has a really good record too. He's something like 24-1.
26-1. He moved unranked to 14th. And then pretty much all of these guys were all unranked, and then they snuck in the top 15, 16. Jaden Reynolds had a good win at conference. Who did he beat? He beat
did he beat Kreitzer?
Kreitzer, yes. So yeah, that was a big win for him. Moved him up. Jace Alexander cracked into the rankings. I know he's kind of flirted with the rankings all year. Reese Rodriguez, another former state qualifier. Logan Macklin, Oak Hill, Bradley Rossman, and having a real good season there. Oak Hill always has some good kids. And then Robbie Gentry and Drew Bailey, big guys. Actually, Drew Bailey jumped up 3 spots. Gentry was last with 4. So not a whole. I mean, most of these guys are moving into the top 20, so that's always good. And they were probably right around that bubble rank anyway. Right around that top 20 area anyway.
Right. I don't think there was a lot of guys that I went through and added. Like there wasn't a ton of guys going through. I was like, oh man, we were kind of blown away by one of the results.
Mm-hmm.
It was good to see Cole Baker back from Frankton, a state qualifier. I know he was injured early on. Who is someone that? I'm trying to see if there was someone that maybe I was looking to do like that. Maybe I wasn't like that we didn't even have on the watch list and going through. Then I was like, okay, well, I have to put that guy in the rankings because he did a really good job.
Yeah. It really doesn't. I mean, put out rankings late last week, so there weren't too many changes. Not as many as usual. But yeah, and there's 2 big weight changes. I think we did say Diaz going up to 113.
That's a game changer, man. No, we didn't say that, but that's huge at East Chicago. That makes that weight pretty nasty. And also, you also had Colin Regan switch weights there too.
Yeah.
So East Chicago is going to be pretty tough at 113.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Diaz beat Moran last year there.
Yeah. So that'll definitely be an interesting matchup there. We can go through the rankings. Should we? Any weights that you're looking forward to watching throughout the state series?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be doing the broadcast. I think I'm going to start off at Crown Point, and then we're going to do, then I'm going to switch with Morgan. I'll probably do Hobart Regional. So, I mean, I get to see a lot of that, but, I mean, obviously we do a lot of the East Chicago stuff, so it's just always a matter of, like, who's going to get their guys to peak at the right time, which, you know, those guys do a good job of that. It'll be exciting to see where, you know, the bigger teams like, you know, Portage always finds a way to get a bunch of guys there. And, I mean, allow those guys to step on the mat with a chance to go. I think Maryville kind of peaked a little early last year. I think they peaked at the regional. They had a bunch of guys in the ticket round. And outside, I don't think they had one returning state qualifier, but they're a pretty loaded team to see if how they perform. But, I mean, there's so many good sectionals, obviously, so many good regionals. We were talking about it before, like the Mooresville regional is really good. You want to see how that kind of plays out. That's going to have a big impact on the state. And I think a lot now with individual points tallying up, there's going to be a lot of big impact matches at the semi-state level to like kind of determine, like especially at some of the like East Chicago or not East Chicago, but Evansville and Newcastle is so good. You can get, you know, guys picking off guys. Look at just by numbers last year, Cathedral had so many guys there. It was not easy for them to win a state title, but they were able to just kind of bombard it. Now, if a team like Perry or you know another team like that is going to look to get that win, they're going to have to knock some of those guys off in the ticket round, which is always pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's definitely like last year. I think as Cathedral just had some brutal ticket round matches, and you're looking, you know, they are obviously one of the teams to watch for a state title, and then. We're looking at that like, man, they're gonna have to wrestle their butts off just to get their kids to score points at state, just to get them to state so they can score points, and they did. They came through and run a lot of really close matches, matches that, you know, were 50-50 or maybe not even in their favor, and that's what it takes. I know I'm interested in the Fort Wayne semi-state, obviously for my own, but there's you know, Yorktown's won it for a gazillion years in a row, and they have a few horses. They don't have as many horses as they usually have. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out semi-state wise. And I'm going to actually try to do a power rankings as soon as we get the other rankings out for the semi-states. Just to see, I'll do a power rankings for the state, but I also I'm going to try to do it for the semi-states just to see kind of where the you know, who's going to win the semi-states if the rankings hold up. So. And it'll be good to judge. I'll be interested to see how Fort Wayne figures out.
What did we say? What were we last year? Like 84% for the state. I think the semi-states do a great job. I mean, and I do one of them, but I think that's what you're seeing the most of. I mean, draws aside, like the guys that do semi-states are generally the guys that are right towards the top of the pick'ems too. So
yes. Last year
personally, as a personal thing, I love it when I like do Fort Wayne if I get ahead of Caleb, because then that's like trash talk. Like, I don't even watch your guys' wrestling. How did I beat you?
Yeah. Let's see. 2000. I'll have to look at it. I'm bringing it up in a minute. That's 2017. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely some a ton of exciting matchups, just possibilities. It's just an exciting time of year, you know. Um, you're gonna see some of these like freshman guys that have been in the mix, see if they can go out there and kind of make that mark. And I think we talked about it early on in the year. This is one of the better freshman classes we've had in a while. So
yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing these freshmen hit the mats for lots of reasons, and we have a lot of guys, bigger guys, in lots of different weights. So it's neat. It's good to see those guys there. So yeah, I'm trying to do 12 things at once, trying to talk and yeah. The semi-states are gonna be fun. I mean, Evansville, you're gonna have Avon, who has their horses. You have Brownsburg, who's gonna have a lot of horses there. And you have Mater Dei, and Mater Dei's Avon and Brownsburg are coming out of the same regional, so they're gonna be separated, but they're gonna run into Mater Dei champions. So that's going to be very interesting.
Then you're going to have it, and especially with it being individual, you're going to have a lot of horses. You get a team like Columbus East that's going to be in the mix too. It's going to be crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's such a good semi-state. Going through the rankings, I don't. Obviously, when we say it all the time, and people always like. You'll get at least one person in the state tournament like, oh man, your rankings really took it on the nose. Like, yeah, this isn't a pick'ems. Like, I do well in the pick'ems too, guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know we've said it before, but definitely needs to be emphasized again that the rankings aren't exactly who you are picking to win state or picking to place top 8. It's based on their resume and
right,
and what they're doing. Kind of a little bit of a what have you done for me lately type of thing. So right. It's not exactly who you will pick to win state this year. It's likely they will, but I mean but it's not always. And when you do the pick'ems, you're not always going to pick all the number ones. You're going to look at who matchups and things like that. And it's so just as a word to the wise. Last year you had 79.9%.
I went high on that. I try to go high.
Yeah.
Not bad though. I think the single elimination at the semi-state, and you're doing. We don't do it for injuries or anything like that. There's gonna be some like withdrawals, and we just kind of let it roll, which is pretty good. I mean, I know like a lot of people like to get on there and say rankings don't mean anything, but they always say, rankings don't mean anything, but they gotta mean something. They're close.
Yeah, I mean, considering you're sitting at, it was about 7 this years you've probably been doing this. I'm just looking at the stats right now. It's always been over 75%, which means you're getting 3 out of 4 plus, which is pretty good. It's going to be that's pretty impressive considering we lock them. They're locked. They're not going to be changed after that first whistle. So injuries happen, kids get upset, and the draws are kill. I mean, how many kids are we losing? The ranked kids hit each other in the ticket round.
Tons, and that's like for like me as a fan. Then that's all I do. I mean, you guys coach. That has to be brutal for you guys as just a fan. That's crazy. I love it. That's like part of what makes the sport great.
Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting. I mean, I always like to see, get that 80%, get a perfect weight where you get, and then even your rankings you're not going 4-4-4. For they're not always. Do you have 4 guys from each semi-state? Now you might be a little bit better with the 20, but it's still there's some that you'll rank 3 guys from a semi-state. So
right. I mean, and it's not like a matter. Like some of those semi-state, like you look at the rankings and it's like, man, like 6 to 8 of these guys could be ranked and they're all good. Like. You look at some of the other brackets, or even at East Chicago, some of the brackets are like, man, that's a tough weight. That's 120 is pretty tough at East Chicago.
Yeah,
definitely. Like all those guys are really solid. 182 is another weight. That's just a solid weight. I think overall, I mean, kind of going back to that, like, is what have you done for me lately? You just look at results. A lot of that's result based. Like, look at 126. That was like one of the, I think, bigger choices of the year was to move Mendez over man, my mind's space now.
Over Curtis.
Yeah, Curtis, yeah. And that's a difficult because Curtis has he's won 109 straight matches. Like, think about how hard that is. Like, there's not another guy in the state right now that's won 109 straight matches.
No.
And it was just a matter of, there's only been a couple guys. I mean, Braden probably did last year. Paris did.
Yeah.
But, I mean, other than that, like, who else has won 100 straight matches?
Let's see. I'm looking through the number ones. Most of them have lost this year.
Yeah.
South hasn't lost, but he lost at semi-state last year. So no.
Yeah.
Brewer lost at state last year. Allred lost at state last year. Bolte, I don't know if he's undefeated or not.
Yeah, he's undefeated.
But he lost at state last year. Watts. So no one. I mean, the only one that won state would have been Garcia, but he lost at semi-state to.
He lost out of state.
Yeah, he's lost this year. Yeah, he has. Yeah, that too. So yeah.
And and it's not that, like, I don't think Curtis is good, because obviously, like, that's a pretty phenomenal feat. Like, there's not a lot of guys that do that, and the guys that do that are pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
And obviously, none of those are me or you. We didn't win 109. I didn't win 109 for the career, so.
No. I might have had 109 losses.
Yeah, close. I'm up there. We don't put that stat down. But you look at, like, it was just a matter of, like, who had a better weekend, and Jesse had beat Watts, and I think Curtis had a couple tight matches. And then, I was like, well, if Curtis beats Watts worse than Mendez did when they wrestled at Team State, I would probably, flip that again. But he ended up. Oh man, when it comes down to it, like, who are you picking? Like, that's gonna be a difficult one. I think there's gonna be, in a lot of the pick'ems games, like, that's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, definitely. That's gonna be interesting. I mean, and you're gonna see, you could have a Watts versus Curtis loser hitting Mendez Saturday morning.
And I wouldn't be. I mean, I said this after the DAC with some of the guys I was talking to. I think, like, there's some coaches that make a lot of adjustments, and I think Porter's a team that makes adjustments. And I've seen it since Vega and the staff have been in place. That was a pretty tight match with Peel. Not that, like, either of them were doing a bunch. I think it was 0-0 going into the third period. And then Peel let Mendez go, so it was 1-0 Mendez, and then Mendez got a takedown 3-0, and they got back points at the end, so it was 6-0. But, I mean, those guys are guys that, once they get some tape, they do a really good job of making adjustments. So I think 126 is one of those weights that's always exciting. And that's what those guys want. That's what Mendez and them want, is to get in the best weights. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Should be some fun weights. We'll be talking about that. We'll probably be going on Mondays from now on, since no. We have lots of stats. Don't worry, Casey. We have every state tournament ever on our website. Well, not ever yet, but we have all the past individual state placers and the brackets, but they're kind of hidden right now. Mike and I are gonna have a little fun contest. Maybe we should put some money on. No, kidding. Have some pride on the line here, but we're going to do a confidence picks on our number ones. I'm going to pull them up right now. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, there they are. I always mess that up. Right here. I need to practice my weatherman, so I need to stand up and go. Oops, wrong way. Here we go. We're going to have some snow over here, and then some. Yeah. So we got our number ones listed here. Awesome graphic. Took me all of a few minutes to do. We're going to rank them kind of confidence picks from 1 meaning that's the most confident, to 14, who we don't think is going to win. So it's nothing against anyone. It's just it's just one of those, we're going to try to pick, and maybe we'll have a little contest. Maybe we'll put this on the IndianaMat as a contest, but then they'll cheat off of us. So I'm going to go first. With my number one, I'm going to go Allred as my number one. most confident pick for number 1. Who do you have?
I'm gonna go my number 1 most confident. Let me look at this here. This is off the top of my head. I didn't even prepare for this. We basically talked about this in the pre-show. I'm gonna go Caden Rooks with my number 1.
Ooh, I like that one.
We should do it in the flip though. That's a 14. So like you add up your score at the end. So if those guys don't, if they don't win, so Caden Rooks would be my 14. Already would be your 14. So if they don't make it, then you lose that 14. That's the toughest one.
Yeah, I'll just put that in my little spreadsheet that I have here. Oof. I'll probably go. I like Rooks as my number 2, most confident. What are you thinking for your number 2? You can go 2 in a row since I'm the first one to go.
Did you just take Rooks as your 13? I can go 13 and 12.
Yeah.
This is I had him number 1 wire to wire, but I think that some of the guy that I thought maybe could beat him in that weight left the weight. I'm gonna go Alex Cotty with my 2.
Okay.
With my 13, and then I'm gonna go All Red with 12.
Okay. I'll go 2 now. Oof. I'm gonna go. Man, where do we go? Do I go with I like Cotty. I like Moran's chances. I know he's going to be pushed a little bit. I'm going to go Nick South. I like South there as my 12. 11, which would be the 4th most confident if you're keeping track at home. Man, I'm going to go Garcia. I like, yeah. That's a little bit of a risk, but I my middle name, I'm risky. So go ahead with your 11 and 10.
I think I'm gonna go with Garcia also.
Okay.
And man,
I think I know where I'm going next, but.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna go South.
Okay.
Garcia and South.
10th. Oops,
man,
not 110.
170 is good though.
Yeah, 170 is tough. South's, he's hard to score on. I know that. So you have to score points to usually win matches, from what I've gathered in my few years in the sport.
I've only seen him wrestle a couple of times live, but he might lift weights also. I'm not sure.
There's a rumor. It's a rumor. Let's not spread rumors here. Mr. Graber, that's who I'm going with for my number 10. Carson Brewer. I like Brewer. He's tough. The scariest thing, I know I'm going to hear it from Matty B, but he just Banker's Life hasn't been the most friendly to him. So that's what scares me. But he should dominate. If State was held anywhere else, I would put him as my number 1 most confident. But something about that gym. Thanks, Wyatt. Number 9. Ooh, boy. I'm going to go Donnell Washington.
Yeah. See, now I think this is where it's tough in the middle here. I'm going to go with I'm going to go back. Did I already take Moran? I'm going to go.
No, you have not.
Washington and
Washington
and
Washington first, then Moran.
Yeah.
So that is a 9, and then number 8 for Moran. I think I'm gonna head. Yeah.
Now we're getting tough ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Moran.
I got one more.
Actually, no, I'm going Cotty. Then I'm gonna go Moran as my 7th best.
I thought you already picked Moran. You didn't pick Moran yet?
No.
I thought you picked Moran like 11.
11 was Garcia.
Okay. All right, so now I have 2. I'm going to go Brewer. I got 20, 26.
45, 52, 220, and heavyweight. On blocks. We both have those ones.
Yeah. Man.
Thanks, Logan.
What do you say?
He said the rankings aren't accurate. Ay. Yeah, these are the
I'm
fun
gonna
ones.
go
You got the modern day and
yeah, and they're all good.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Matt Lee.
As yours.
Man, I have a lot of love for the Evansville semi-state, man.
Yeah.
A lot of number ones out of Evansville.
Yes, you do. So it's my turn. I get 2 of them, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got 2.
I'm going to go Matt Lee at my 6. And then my 5. I think I'm doing this right? I'm going to go Littell. I think I have all those right. That's a double check.
So I got 52, 20, 26, heavyweight 220. That's 5.
Yes. There we go, yeah. 26, 52, 220, and we both actually have, you have 20 also. So.
Yeah, I'm going to go Littell and, man, it's tough. 120, it's tough to, like, say, I mean, that's like one of the tougher weights is 26 because there's so many guys that can win that.
Yeah.
And then you got 3 state champs in there. I'm going to go Littell and I'll go Dickens.
Dickens, okay. I'm gonna go Mendez, and then I'm gonna go. I think we'll both have the same bottom 2 that we are least confident in, and then I'm going Dickens also in my number 3.
So I got Mendez. I got 220 in heavyweight.
Yeah.
I'll go with Jamichael Watts and then Bolte next.
And then you're going Bolte. Then obviously you're gonna have Mendez as your least confident.
No, Mendez.
Okay.
Watt.
Okay. And Bolte's your least confident.
Bolte's my least confident.
Yeah, I'm least confident in those 2 also. So yeah, maybe we'll put those on the board. I don't know. Maybe we'll have a little fun. See who's gonna get these right. The confidence picks. Oh shoot, don't want to do that.
Ooh.
So
we should post it on the board, and I want everyone else to just the number ones. Like if you think,
yeah,
whoever is gonna be the champ, that's fine. There's a pick the champs. Just do your number ones.
I'll put that
Logan
on the board.
Miller,
We'll run that for about a week. For a week. We'll do a little contest, and you got to do it.
Logan Miller, the Brownsburg 106, doesn't think the rankings are accurate.
Nope, he doesn't. I guess. Brownsburg hasn't looked very strong as they have been the past couple weeks, and that's hopefully losing some matches at conference, losing against Columbus East kind of, and the rankings are a little bit of a what have you done for me lately type of deal. So if you're not wrestling well right now, you're gonna drop a little bit. So
we can do a Q&A right now. He can put whatever one he wants on there. Lawson Aiken lost to right now. Why did Lawson Aiken drop? He lost to Williams. Why did Drew Kreitzer drop? He lost to Reynolds. Why did Drake Campbell lost? He lost to Joey Gordon, who I don't even know if he made like the rankings on the backside. And it was pinned by Asa Garcia. And then KT, we dropped him a little bit further. He was out of the lineup for a little bit of time too.
Yeah.
And I don't think he dropped that, but I think he was like at 11, right?
Yeah.
What did he drop?
Yeah.
11 to 17.
Mm-hmm. Now plus you had a couple guys move in that weight class too, so biggest upset at 93-94 state. Wow, that's a lot of information. What weight now? What weight tiebreaker? What weight do you see would you say? I guess you can do top 3 weights that a 10th or higher ranked kid would possibly win state. Where would you say that if that's going to happen? What weight are you going to say that's going to happen?
Heavyweight. Heavyweight's been the one the entire year that I felt like anyone could have. There's a lot of guys that could win that. Heavyweight, I would say. I'm trying to look at the top 10. We gotta do 3 of them?
Yeah, just as a tiebreaker, just like I guess it doesn't have to be in any order, but
Heavyweight. Trying to see a guy that I'm like, man, that I'm trying to find that sleeper pick right now.
Who's gonna sneak in there?
52.
Yeah, I like 52. I agree with both of those. Obviously, I have some vested interest in 52, and I've been paying attention to 52, and it's like, wow, those top 9 guys are all pretty legit. Let's see.
I think some of the way. So one of the craziest things about and this kind of goes back to that semi-state idea of what we were saying. Some of the weights that are like the deepest weights that you can get, those like 10 through like 20s, are weights that there's guys on like this. I don't think these guys are losing up top.
Yeah.
And I think 13 could be. I mean, see, like that's like Moran's in there. Like I would be shocked if Moran didn't win. Like if he lost, I mean, like he's lost. Like I could see him losing, but there's like so many good guys, like 10 through 22. Maybe 6. I would say 6.
6, yeah. I'd probably agree there. I mean, at 285, obviously 152. That last
Peyton
one.
Ashbury lost to a guy at 160.
What do you
from Columbus East.
Yeah.
No, I'm just answering questions.
No.
I mean, I'll answer them. Dorian Keys didn't drop, did he?
Who? Keys?
Yeah, Dorian Keys didn't drop.
Let's see. I'll look it up because I have the...
He's number 3. How much higher could he be?
He actually stayed the same. So he... Actually, the top 13 at heavyweight stayed the same. So, yeah. I don't know how much high you can't drop when you stay the same rank. Man, these Brownsburg kids are harsh. I said these Brownsburg kids are harsh.
Those private conversations Nick was there.
Yeah.
No, I mean I don't mind Dorian Keys. I heard he's really strong and really good. He hasn't lost to anyone in Indiana. And he had a great win over the Ben Davis kid.
Yeah. So, yeah. We'll put that on the board. We'll put your confidence picks on the number 1s and maybe give a prize, t-shirt or something cool for anyone that can beat us.
Shaved ice,
no.
maybe?
No.
I have a 100% shaved ice bet. Like me and my buddy who watches a bunch of college, we have a bet on just like straight shaved ice, like for as much as you can eat for the entire weekend.
Nice. The shaved ice, they probably sell more shaved ice during the wrestling weekend than any other weekend ever at state, because everyone thinks it's the best thing in the world. But yeah, gotta work on my thing. So you'll be at Crown Point this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna be at Crown Point. I'm gonna be on the mic. We'll do not the mic, not like announcing, but I'll be doing the live broadcast. Region Sports does a great job of covering the postseason. I think it's like one of those things where every year we get to do a little bit more and more, and it's going to be pretty good. I enjoy doing that, so you can hear my thoughts just like here. I'll answer questions if you send them to me also.
Nice. Yeah, I'll be at Carroll.
Yeah.
Come see me there.
Doing the thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's yes, Miguel. We don't trust the rankings from 1994. They weren't as good as Mike's. I guarantee they didn't get 80% at state. I can imagine getting that information back in those days, though. So.
By the time you got it from mail, they would mail it to you. You had to make a telephone call.
Yeah, I do have some of the old ones somewhere around here. I was just looking to see if I have some of the old rankings that someone had kept. And I'm looking at some of these old rankings. And so yeah, it is interesting because they had they're sent out by mail, so you'd wait for the mail and get your rankings.
Yeah, wow. That's what they said. I'm having trouble with my mail now, so I would hate that.
Nice. So we'll be back probably next Monday with any. Eric has had a good season. That's not an understatement. Yeah. He's ranked number 3, so that's not out of the question.
I think Jacob Simone's had a nice season too. Don't sell yourself short, man. He's had a good year also.
Even though he looks like he's a Giants fan, so I don't. Come on.
Yeah, that's. So he's had a lot of heartbreak in the last couple of years. But I think anytime. I would say top 6. I'm trying to think. If you're in the top 6, I'm not shocked if you win. I think those guys are all pretty close, and I think that speaks to the depth of the state. The 10 through 20, I feel like maybe it's a deterrent because you get to see all the results and people send you a bunch of stuff and you kind of you do different matchups. Those ones are a little tougher for me to see. I gotta be shocked, if an unranked guy were to beat, I don't know. I'm trying to think of someone. Nick South for a state title. That would shock me. I'd be shocked. But that's that's part of the sport. I love it. But Spencer Eric winning a state title, I think, what is he, 3? I wouldn't doubt that. He's had success his entire life. That guy's been awesome. I think he was a middle school state champ coming in. He had a big weight too, and he's been a big weight since he's been a kid, which is. I think it's tough.
Oh man, that's messed up. I look at small brackets and some stuff's messed up here. Yeah. Who's going to be this year's Eli Stock? I guess is what we're.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting there.
Ben Dalton, my guy Ben Dalton's going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of had a quiet season. I know he's pretty tough, and he's going to be in the mix there no matter where he goes.
Yep. Undefeated, still undefeated. It's just I think that's one of the more shocking things for me right now is I know Ben Dalton I think had wrestled some at 6 or made 6, and then Diaz he was wrestling 6. I think Callan Regan of Frontier had made 6, and all those guys went to 13. So I think that's a kind of a surprising thing for me. TJB.
He just wants socks.
Man, nice. Let's get that man some socks.
We'll talk maybe. We'll see you at state, so we'll talk.
But we need, once you get these socks, these are socks that you have to wear. These are not hey, I'm going to hang out socks. Drew Hughes wore these every match.
Yes.
I seen Slivka wearing his. I know I gave DJ Washington a pair. I don't know if I've seen them. So that's a little disappointing.
DJ. Yeah, I was looking at 13, how deep 13 is. Top 13 guys all have 2 or less losses. So that's pretty impressive. I was looking 1, 1, 2, 1, 0, 0. Looking at those guys in there, that's pretty loaded weight class. Most of them, KT Nelson with 8 losses, it looks like. So he's the only one with, more than 4. So,
yeah, and that's not a disrespectful thing. I don't know if those guys, if they were just on there to just kind of mess around, that's not me being disrespectful. Obviously, I'm very impressed with the IndianaMat tournament. I think that's a great measuring stick, and he won a great tournament that day. I mean, he beat Diaz for a championship there. He could wrestle with anybody.
Yeah.
But like we said, it's what have you done for me lately, league. So.
Yep. So that should be some interesting wrestling going on the next couple weeks. Good luck to everyone. Stay healthy. Hopefully, no one gets snowed or iced out this weekend, so that we can get brackets. So that's one of those things that I'm scared of. Hopefully, everyone, if you see Mr. Falkins, be very nice to him. Thank him for everything he does, and don't say anything about Wrestlebacks, please. Please do not say anything about Wrestlebacks. That's a bad word. And then also say how, tell them how great they do, and so hopefully we get brackets in a timely manner, especially semi-state draw. Regional draw I don't care about because you can figure that out. The semi-state draw is very nice to have. The earlier the better, that way we can talk more about it and deep dive into the death draws.
I liked it, man. I like that. Falcon's my guy. I like that guy. Um, but I think that it's like one of those things. You want those brackets out. I like that it went a little old school. We had to go the old way, and I like to see some IndianaMat brackets again. I like to see those at the meets when guys are walking around with the IndianaMat bracket.
No fluff in those. They have an IndianaMat logo in the brackets. No fluff. I can create them. I'll look to add them this year and make some. Put our rankings on there and semi-state rankings. We can do that.
That's the best one. You see the guys at the state finals, and they got the IndianaMat bracket with the rankings in there. Those are the best.
Oh yeah.
Now, if we can just get the IHSA to add that, game over, man.
Yes, we're working with them. We're working. So yeah, I'm excited. It's a fun time of year. Yep, they mentioned us on the broadcast last year. I know Coach Gable always uses IndianaMat. I've seen him with the IndianaMat brackets in the press room. Right before the finals. Studying them and asking any kind of juicy information on any of the big on the finals and things like that. So that's always fun to see. He obviously knows that's where you go to get information, and he has the rankings out. He knows he's pulling up, who this guy lost to. He has 3 losses. It's this guy and this guy and this guy. He already knows that because he goes to the website. He's a loyal patron. So
yeah, it's amazing. The guys that do region sports, they always ask like, "Oh, are these the updated rankings? We want to release them. We want to have the best information we can have." Which is good. I don't know if all the media guys are doing that, but I think it's pretty cool that the guys that we're interacting with are.
Yeah. No, I think
it's a great resource.
I think all the media guys do use that. It's always I still get a little. It's always nice to see in the articles. IndianaMat ranked this guy. This guy's ranked. Or team wise. They're the whatever ranked team in the state by IndianaMat. It's always kind of neat to see, even though it's been 10 years and it's still kind of neat to see that IndianaMat's made that that's where people go. There's no more coaches rankings. There's no more that's the authority on Indiana wrestling.
I always mean to ask Dane, like, do you think when the guys that are doing the articles and we're at these events and they're sitting like literally right next to us and they're like writing down as I'm like on the mic, they're like, hey, I probably asked this guy. He actually does the rankings, or he just like, I'm going to this website where I'm grabbing the rankings from. And like they could ask Dane. He's literally in the place. Like, hey, how these team rankings working out? They're just like, cool team rankings. The guy's right there. You could literally ask him. I think like someone had asked me that early on in the season, like, oh, does the paper ask you a lot of like who to do articles on and stuff? I'm like, no, never. I've never had that talk.
No.
I take that back. Region Sports did like an IHSA article, and they're like, hey, they're looking to do someone like that personifies like sportsmanship out of the East Chicago semi-state. Who do you think? And it was like a board of people. It wasn't just me. It was like a board. And I think we were all pretty similar to who we picked. But it was like one of those things, like that was like the first time I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I've gotten a few media guys ask for a little bit of information, like, any updated rankings, or if how many times has this team won this or whatever, and I can usually kind of point them in the right direction. But yeah, that's usually they just go with their flow, and they probably go to the website or they go other places to get that information, and then go on those guys. So, it's been a long week. It's only Thursday, right? I need to take tomorrow off.
Yeah, only Thursday. Gotta be cold, man. Stay warm. Sounds like everyone in the region's going down schools.
Yeah, you can buy apparel on IndianaMat. There's a little store. We don't have too much stuff on there. I need to do an inventory because I just put away a bunch of stuff. If you check the Snapchat, there was lots of pictures. There were lots of gear and T-shirts and stuff. And so look for that. I'll update it maybe next week. A little less strenuous week next week, hopefully. So, and Mike, you can answer the any morning radio broadcast.
No, I haven't really talked to those guys. I don't know if that was something they wanted to renew. I thought it was pretty cool last year, but I haven't really talked to them.
Yeah.
Maybe someone else is doing it. Maybe they got someone else.
Yeah. Or they'll call you up tomorrow morning. Hey, you forgot about this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't do too much back. I just had to pull the brackets up so I can get a look at it. But that's always a cool thing, just to kind of get those guys some recognition. I think that's like one of the things that I love about the site the most is that you do the articles, which are amazing. They've done a great job. And just getting people recognized, and because it's tough, man. It's not the glamorous sport. Like, you're not getting the headlines like football or basketball or things like that. But I think that outside of the papers, which is cool. Like, if you want to get in the papers, that's awesome. But I think that we do a good job of growing that mentality.
Yeah, definitely. I like to learn about the guys, and Slivka's brother said that he didn't like getting called out on IndianaMat because his brother beats up on him, has a game plan if they ever wrestle.
I was reading that too, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I would have liked that either.
If Tony calls you, so hey, Mike comes after me. I have the game plan. I had the game plan already written out.
Yeah, he's bigger and stronger than me now, so I don't think he needs much of a game plan. He's probably in better shape. Yeah. Grows a better beard. It's tough. It's tough out here for these old brothers.
So, with that, we're gonna let you guys go. We're gonna be. Oh yeah, I always keep forgetting. If you do want to listen to us and not look at our faces, we are on Apple Podcast, iTunes, whatever that's called. I hate Apple. Google Play Music. We also have. You can download it from IndianaMat. There's a little link there, so you can download it, listen to it on your way to work or whatever. If you miss something, a lot of different ways you can download it and listen while you are on the go, and just as a podcast type dealio. So yes, but yeah. So if you want to listen to us and you miss some of it, you can download that. The article will be up on IndianaMat in about half hour probably. So check that out if you want to listen to us. So. Anything else, Mike, before we go, other than the message board is boring? Because I even edit my own post.
I know I can edit the post. Is that just a moderator thing you can do?
Yeah.
Everyone else can't
Yeah.
do it?
No, I changed it to a half hour because there are some people that were abusing it. So.
It's still fun.
Yes.
No, this is like the best time of the year. I think I always say, like, thank you everyone for turning in information, or even if you're telling me I'm wrong, like, that's always a great conversation too. I try to respond to every email, every text, every message, just because I know, like, obviously they're taking time out to let me know, and I want to respond. And that's the way we get it right. Like, I can't be everywhere at once, so generally if you send me a message and you're not like overbearing, like, my kid's this, my kid's that, and you only want to tell me about his wins and not his losses, I generally take that as pretty good information. And then I like to use those people to ask, like, if they've seen such and such, or I text you all the time, like, hey, like, is this kid pretty good? You're seeing more Fort Wayne stuff than I am. Like, what is your opinion? So I appreciate that. I mean, it doesn't sound like the best thing, 75, 77%, but it would be a lot lower if I didn't have the people sending messages and stuff. So yeah. I appreciate it.
Most definitely. I mean, you can't be everywhere, and a lot of great information sent to you. And I know you have a few people, some moles throughout the state that kind of feed you some information, and they're very highly trusted. That, hey, this kid's really good. Keep an eye out on him, and usually they're right. I know. I mean, Caleb and I are probably out of Fort Wayne, and there's some others down south. Howie does a great job, and right. So I know the other guys are going to have their rankings up probably tomorrow. I think East Chicago's done. I'm going to do a glance over and maybe post them tonight. It's getting a little late, but I'll try to get them out in the morning, and then the rankings are locked, and then we just sit back and relax and cross fingers that they're at least 70% right.
Yeah, I won't try to hit that 80%. We used to do the cross out the line, but I guess that was frowned upon in this new PC world.
Yes. So, with that...
No, that was just what it was on the message board.
Yes. So, we will let you guys go. Have a wonderful sectional week. And we are going to see you on Monday, hopefully.